Let's turn to Dr. Richard Besser. He served as acting director of the CDC. He's now president and CEO of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Dr. Besser, good morning. Lots to talk about, but can we start in England? Because just overnight, the authorities there issued an advisory about allergic reactions to the Pfizer vaccine that's being administered now there, saying that if you have a significant history of allergies, you shouldn't get this particular vaccine. That seems incredibly broad and vague to me. What's your take on this?
I agree with you totally. It's extremely broad and vague. When I look at the data that Pfizer posted, that the FDA posted in terms of their analysis, they didn't find an issue in terms of allergies. But I would expect that because of this report out of the UK, it will be something that the FDA advisory committee that will be meeting tomorrow will consider. But it is broad, and we need a lot more information on that.
Yeah, it's based on 2 cases, so perhaps it's an abundance of caution. Let's talk about what you just mentioned, which is we got kind of a treasure trove of documents, that scientific data that the FDA has been scrutinizing, and it according to one expert, said it's basically an A+ report card for a vaccine. There was some good data in there. What struck you about it?
Well, I love this about the FDA process. It's very transparent. Anyone who wants to can go online and look at the analysis that the FDA did on this. And I would agree. This is the report of a vaccine that is extremely effective, so 94, 95% effective, and extremely safe. You can expect to get a sore arm from this, and especially after the second dose, you can expect to feel pretty lousy, but that's your body reacting to this and building an immune response. Yeah. One of the things that really excited me about the report, though, was that they found a significant level of protection, greater than 50%, 1 week after the first dose. It doesn't mean you don't need a second dose. You do, because it's really important in terms of how long your immunity lasts and getting up to that 94, 95% protection. But what it does say is that following that first dose, people who get that vaccine could expect to see some benefit.
Yeah, that was my next question. I mean, that is so exciting to think that you're not going to just have those 2 weeks and you're waiting for the second shot, but you're going to get some protection while you wait. Really good news. On the not so good news, I saw some hospital data analyzed in the New York Times this morning, saying that more than a third of Americans live in areas where hospitals are running critically short of intensive care beds. And get this, 1 in 10 Americans across a large swath of the Midwest, South, and Southwest live in an area where the intensive care beds are either completely full or fewer than 5% of beds are available. I mean, what does this say to you, especially when we're still waiting for the Thanksgiving surge?
Yeah, Savannah, it's such an important point. When you hear the exciting news about vaccines, you can get this sense of, wow, it's over. We don't have to worry anymore. This is the most dangerous period of the pandemic. Our hospitals are filling up. Hospitals are looking at something called crisis standards of care. And this is something we talked about in the spring. It's what do you do when your hospital is full? How do you share resources to make sure people can get treatment? But in addition to people with COVID not being able to get in, think of people who are having chest pain, people who have diabetes that's out of control, or someone who feels a lump in their breast and needs to get that evaluated for cancer. When our hospitals are full, it's not just people with COVID who suffer, it's everybody. So we have to double down on wearing masks and keeping apart. And if Congress doesn't provide support to people, then there are millions of people who are going to have to go to work, even if they've been exposed, even if they feel sick.
Dr. Besser, always good to get your analysis. Thanks for your time this morning, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Savannah.